Good evening. I'm Steve Nordborg, Vice Chair of the Auburn Board of Health. Today is Monday, July 10th. I'll call this meeting to order. And the first item is to review the agenda.
And if I can offer, we are going to hold the minutes until the next meeting. And we will have the minutes from the June meeting as well. So we'll have a couple sets for you for the next meeting.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I think we have to adjust from the agenda. Aside from that, everything else should be good.
Next item would be to reorganize the board. We are expecting a new member to
Yes.
appear at some point this evening.
So we're hoping, we have interest from a third member. That member has been appointed, and the appointment has gone through the town clerk. They have been notified, and we believe that they will be here this evening. But the paperwork has been approved by the town manager. So we're just waiting for.
Do we have a quorum to reorganize with the two of us? Or?
If we could wait just a few minutes,
Okay.
If you don't mind, maybe we can look at some of the other items here.
Sure.
I can give you some
Okay.
updates, but we do have a quorum to do the hearing for the local upgrade approval request for 16 Barnes, if you wish.
And, let's open the hearing for the local upgrade request on 16 Barnes Street. Mr. Purcell, you're here as...
I'm representing the Pineros family.
Do you anticipate anyone else coming?
I don't think anybody else is coming. Nobody else indicated they were going to show. What we have is a plan that we attempted to perk at 16 Barnes Street, but they also own the property at 14 Barnes. 14 Barnes, they decided not to pursue an A&R plan because I guess it got denied by the ZBA and the building inspector. So we did try to perk in front of the house. In the back of the house is the well and a pool and all of that. The front was just so chaotic with underground utilities and a monster septic system. It was already underground. We hit 7 holes that we dug out front. We hit something every time. So there was really not much of an opportunity for us to get the natural grade. It was brought to our attention that about 3 years ago there was previous testing done on the property next door. We attempted to do some, as you can see, along the property line, and we got miserable soil conditions there along the property line. Mrs. Coyle was there 3 years ago, as well as myself and Mr. Coyle this time, and we both got simultaneous or similar results. Bob Murphy and Mrs. Coyle did witness the percolation tests down in the area where I did the design. We did find that they were able to perk. They got the worst of the perk was 29 minutes an inch, so we designed a proper repair of 4 bedrooms plus 1 at a 30-minute perk rate, and we were able to fit it. They're fitted on the lot and fitted between the intersecting the 2 perk holes that were done previously. What we were looking for is a 3-foot offset to water table instead of 4. What that'll do is it'll provide us the protection that we need according to DEP, as well as there's a fair amount of aesthetics, and then there's a cost involved as well. We just we were able to eliminate the pump chamber. We just saved them about $10,000 on that by being able to gravity feed the system out. So we're going to have a nice flattened out area there instead of it, there'll be no mound, it'll be a flattened out area with a terrace and all. And it's certainly gonna be more than adequate for, to meet the code. That's about it. From what I understand, Mrs. Coyle hasn't finished reviewing the plan yet, so, but we can discuss the local upgrade approval, and then the rest of it would be conditioned. I have no objection to that, so, if that's what the board chooses to do.
So Steve, we have received the local upgrade approval request from Mr. Purcell, and we do have that application here. He's explained the two properties, the soil testing that was done previously on the lot. I can concur. I think we have the results back from September of 2014, and they range anywhere from 2 minutes per inch to 29 minutes per inch, and consistent with what they did more currently. They had some tough time getting perks. So when it was realized that there was some soil testing that was done previously, and depending on the conditions that they were hitting, the engineer decided to, take a look at the adjacent lot.
Both lots are owned by the same party,
Yes, they are.
but they're still deeded as separate lots.
No, they're contiguous lots, so I think they might be deeded as separate lots, but the only way that they can be split, they either need a ZBA change or something, and in a case like this now, they can never be split.
Exactly.
This would allow them so that they could never be split. Probably the only way, maybe some trick way of doing it with doing a septic system easement on that lot if for some reason the zoning changes, but that would open up a whole new hornet's nest, and it's my experience, it never works. Septic system easements and stuff never work. We don't worry about the components at hand, but what we do worry about is the next generation that comes along. They never work. So.
Tom, can I ask, what's your experience with, because they're two separate lots, what if we did a deed just identifying that this septic system goes to the house?
Well, it really doesn't make any difference. I mean, if you're thinking about a deed restriction, I don't really know that is appropriate, because a deed restriction, it's not like you're looking for the typical 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom deed restriction.
Right, no,
and all of that.
not that particular.
The lot does not comply with zoning. I guess from what I understand, it's like a couple of hundred square feet short. Both lots are a couple of hundred square feet short. So at this point, they're unbuildable. Otherwise, they would have gone ahead and built on and shot themselves in the foot with the initial lot. What they did, what the Pineros couple did was they bought the second lot as protection because they didn't want anybody building there. And then they went out, because the person they bought it from, what they were doing is they were doing the testing, and Pineros, to protect their interests, decided they'd just go and buy it up, and that'd be the end of it. Conveniently, I mean, it would have made more sense if we stayed right in their own front yard. But by their picking it up, now it makes it one lot. I don't know that a deed restriction would be called for in a case like this. That's like somebody with a 6-acre lot and telling them, even if there was no dividing line in between.
You don't think the dividing line makes a difference?
I don't think so, because it's not considered, the building inspector and the zoning, and nobody considers that two separate lots now. That's because they're contiguous, and because they're undersized, you can't split them anyhow. So it's not considered,
But they're already split.
Yeah, I
they
think
have,
we
the
have.
paperwork hasn't caught up on it, that's the problem. They only bought it 3 months ago. So what's happening, the registry of deeds hasn't caught up. They had deed problems and everything with them. Actually, the deed description on one had the wrong names on it. They had them transposed. So now they had to go in and do all kinds of deed corrections. Then they decided, before they could do anything else, and then they decided they were gonna buy the second lot. So now what happens is it now becomes contiguous. I can't really, my experience is that you don't have to worry about it. But if you think you might want to do something because of, and if the building inspector or ZBA says, oh, they can still go ahead and do something.
Yeah, and then he has.
I find it very hard to believe that anybody could do anything on that lot now. The only way they've got no place to cross over it to get to the backside of the lot.
I think once I have a chance to just
Yeah.
go through, we can take a look at it, but, you know, we'll see if we need to do anything. I mean, if the board wants to look at what the LUA request is specific for the design, you know, we can do a conditional upon, you know, whatever, review requirements we have to do. You know, I'll speak with, I've spoken with the building inspector already about this lot, and I know there was some discussion about whether or not they can use it as a buildable lot. We just want to protect the people that
Right.
purchase the house
Right.
in the lot next to it, so we can work that out.
Again, and then I suppose the other thing you might want to have them do is, if they want to, make sure that they rewrite the deed so that it
To
shows
create-
as
Yeah.
one,
There's one lot.
because they're passing papers on it now.
Right.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
we could have them recondition or condition the deed, that the
Right.
deed should be
something
corrected
in
to
the
include this
registry.
as now, instead of one parcel, two separate parcels, it now becomes one master parcel at 2 point
Absolutely.
whatever
Yeah,
acres.
that's what I was thinking. Should be
Something
there.
at the registry to indicate that
That's one lot now.
these go together,
Yeah.
that they can't be separated.
I suppose, and that's all you'd have to do is let Mr. and Mrs. Pineros know that, have their lawyer write it up that way. It shouldn't be a problem.
They might already be working on that, it's
Right,
just
right.
not, we haven't got to that level of detail yet, so.
So the request on the board's.
3 foot offset.
Is the 3 foot offset. And Title 5,
Title V allows the 3-foot offset, this is a system repair, and for the reasons that,
and the 4 foot is Auburn bylaw.
4-foot offset to groundwater is Title V requirement. The design plus 1 is the Auburn septic requirement.
We're in compliance with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, he's asking, instead of the 4-foot separation from groundwater, he's asking for the 3-foot separation based upon the soil testing, kind of the challenges with the lot, and obviously the size of the system. The larger the system, the more fill, obviously the more cost. And I think you estimated about 10,000.
The fill requirement alone is about $10,000, and then if I raise it up, then I'd either have to go in and redo the plumbing in the house and raise that up and the tank, the new septic tank. And you're talking about, and replacing the septic tank and all, that's to the tune of about $5,000 there. So you're talking about $15,000. 10 to 15 is going to be their savings just by allowing the 3-foot offset to the water table.
So for repairs, Title 5 allows us to consider the 3-foot offset.
Yes, it
And
does.
we have precedence on that.
We have, yes, we have approved that in the past.
Any other evidence or discussion to present?
I don't think so. I think we have copies of all the paperwork from Mr. Purcell. We also have from him a letter stating that the system, the existing system that he had pointed out in front of the house was in failure. So I know that was one of the things that the owner was concerned about, you know, if she was selling the property, whether or not she needed a Title V. And a lot of times in those cases, when you know that the system is in failure, you don't want to have to put money out for a Title V inspection if you're going to upgrade the system. So the engineer was called in and obviously qualified to make that determination. So we do have the letter from Mr. Purcell as well.
What we do is usually it's the Title V inspection. By the time they get done, it costs about $1,100 versus I call it which do you want, the $1,100 or do you want the $50 letter? And I don't charge them for the letter anyhow, but it's the $1,100 can be very easily be put towards the engineering cost instead of 17 pages of a report that's going to say that it doesn't pass Title V.
Motion to close.
Evidentiary and discussion. I'll second that. Vote.
I vote to make a motion to vote to allow this petition. Yes, close
You
the
made a
letter.
motion to close the evidentiary and
I make a motion to close the evidentiary and discussion portion of the hearing.
I'll second that. And all in favor?
Aye.
And I will vote aye also. We have a motion to present on the request.
I make a motion to grant the offset of the SAS bottom to groundwater for the required 4-foot separation to 3 feet at 16 Barnes Street, Auburn, Mass.
I shall second that. All in favor?
Aye.
And I shall vote aye also. And you'll be looking into the legalities of 2 lots, 2 parcels versus 1 parcel.
Sure. So if I may, so we will do the review and we'll look into, you know, what's needed to make sure that we meet the requirements for protecting the homeowner and the lot next to it. So if it needs to be identified at the registry of deeds, we just want to make sure that it's covered.
Just a motion to close.
I make a motion to close the hearing.
And I shall second that. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye also. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a good evening.
See you later. Talk to you soon, Tom.
Yes, how long does the process?
I was curious, what's the last system installed?
Our system was installed in 1986.
It's like such a new.
Yeah. It's a large house.
31, that's 31 years, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems long.
It is.
Doesn't seem that
To
long
me,
ago.
that's like, oh, that's not that old.
But
Then
like
you're
that.
like, oh, 31, okay.
Thank you very much.
Probably a. That's all.
Okay, why don't we move right into director's issues?
Okay. So in your packet, you have just a couple of letters, and I wanted to kind of just highlight on the Worcester Regional Tobacco Control Coalition, the compliance violations. So in the packet, you got a copy of the notification that we got from WRTCC. This is I believe the 3rd compliance check notification that we've received just in the past couple of months. I think in previous meetings, I've shared those with you as well. So this is notification that we did have a compliance check done at the Shell station on Southbridge Street. Unfortunately, they failed to check an ID, and so we issued a violation, and that went out last week. I don't believe we received notification from the vendor yet regarding the regarding the violation, the citation, but it is a $100 citation. And I actually brought the product, we get a copy of the evidence that's purchased when the minor goes in to buy the tobacco product. So that just gives you an idea of the products that they are attempting to purchase. Coincidentally, this is also the same time of year that we renew our tobacco licenses. I wanted to have some education sent out with the renewals this year. And so Eileen and Paula were able to get together some nice flyers to just kind of remind the business owners again that, you know, we do have tobacco laws in the state. We have state and local tobacco laws. And, you know, we don't want our youth to be able to go into any convenience store to be able to purchase this type of product. These products are easy because there's usually, you know, one or two, you know, I think these are cigars, but sometimes I think you can buy the cigarillos and the different products, and they make them, you know, this is gold package, but I think the last couple, they're pink. They make them look, you know, kid-friendly, if you will. And so, you know, selling any is not good. And the fact that we've had 3 in the past, you know, several months is concerning. So we wanted to obviously bring to your attention the fact that citation has been out. The other 2 citations that were issued, they were also sent educational information. I think in one case there was one business that had somebody that no longer works there, so they weren't really paying attention to what they were supposed to be doing. And I think it's just a matter of making sure that, you know, you have the right signage, you know what you're supposed to do, make sure the employees are informed, and if we can help with that, obviously, you know, whatever we can do to remind them helps. So we sent out some educational information, and we will see the other 2 violations have been paid for already, and this business owner can pay the violation or appeal it. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. We have the benefit to be able to have these compliance checks, and so we want to, you know, utilize the benefit to bring, you know, our numbers down, not up. So this is a case when you don't want any sales to be made. So that is the update for that. And then I also, because we are in that same topic, I know in the past, we usually give you, I think maybe even at the last meeting or the meeting before that, the Tobacco 21 updates. So it is, it's gaining popularity as we move through. They are still reaching out on a regular basis. Dr. Hartman is a strong advocate for the 21 tobacco movement, which towns are raising their legal age to purchase from 18 to 21. So that can be done on the town level. I know I've, you know, brought information to the board. Dr. Hartman has offered to come to the board. One of the items that we had discussed, I think maybe at the last meeting, was Ray, the previous chair, had said, you know, maybe when you have another board member, that might be something that you let the other board member know it has been discussed, just to bring them up to date. So you can let me know if you need anything else from me, as far as, you know, coordinating any information. I know there are towns in Central Mass that are looking at it. So it's always something that I want to at least keep you updated, just in case somebody approaches you on the topic. Okay. Okay, so for septic and well, this is, we have several septic system installations going on, along with wells. This is the time of year that we're inundated with those plants. As you can see, that one just came in.
Hi,
Hi, welcome.
is this the economic development?
No, that's actually across the hall, ma'am. Yep.
Okay,
So you
thanks.
go right back out and just into the Board of Selectmen room.
Okay.
For housing, this is also the time of year under housing, not only do we get housing complaints, but we are responding to a lot of trash complaints in vacant properties. So I know that's something that we are always assessing because things change, especially this time of year, when vacant properties look attractive to people. So we're trying to make sure we are keeping up on making sure they're secure.
The Attorney General's program is still working?
It is working. We will be looking at an assessment now that the warmer weather is here and see where we're at with the properties we were looking at last year. The animal control update, I wanted to let you know the animal control officer gave me an update. We are at 2,100 licenses right now, so there's over 2,100 dogs licensed currently in the town. The date of, we're now into the late fees because the time has passed when, to meet the deadline. So late fees are being issued for anybody that's licensing their dog now. We're hoping to be able to get the remainder of the people that still haven't licensed to be able to come in and license with the town clerk's office. We will be looking at any dog owners that haven't licensed, citations will be forthcoming. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. Obviously, we'd rather have people come in and license versus sending out citations. Animal control can use their time and resources towards better things, but it is something that is necessary. Solid waste update, I wanted to let you know that we will be so for solid waste, the update is the Solid Waste Advisory Committee is meeting on a regular basis, and the recycling coordinator is also working diligently with our office to be able to get the solid waste reduction coordinator. That is going to be a part-time position that is funded through a grant in part. In that position, we are hoping to be able to educate people on ways to how to reduce what they are putting into the solid waste disposal and increase recycling. So just even on my way in today, going through one of the routes in town, there are still people that will overload the toter. So the solid waste toter is overloaded, or they have trash and items next to the toter that are not in a blue bag. We're hoping that when we bring this position on, that is what we can start with, targeting education towards the people that may not realize what they're supposed to be doing. And what happens is, if somebody comes home and their trash and recycling has not been picked up, they're calling our office to make a complaint, my trash wasn't picked up, when in fact, either myself or Eileen are going out to be able to say, well, this is a reason that your trash was not picked up. So there's a lot of education going on. Eileen spends a lot of time, trying to disseminate that information, and obviously handling the trash disposal. There's an element to, we don't want bags of trash ripped open everywhere, but we also need people to follow the rules in order to have the program work successfully. So it's a constant balancing act. We're hoping that this coordinator can provide some assistance to do that. So that is going on, and more to come on that.
So no more stickers on the toters.
Stickers, well, they will have, there will be stickers being utilized, and we'll also have some other educational materials that DEP has come up with. There's a lot of really nice, nice ways to get in touch with people, so that, if you leave a tag or a door tag, something on the toter, so that maybe they missed one thing, or maybe they have a fluorescent light bulb coming out, you can, leave something there so that people know, oh, okay, everything
Yeah.
was okay except I can't put the fluorescence in the toter.
I mean, I know the guys driving the route are trying to get the route done.
Absolutely,
But if they're just like, okay, that one fails, and they just move on,
right,
you're getting the calls at the end of the day.
right.
And how many calls do you get a day? How
Um,
many routes that we have running?
So we have 5 routes, and there's always like a catch-up for
Mhm.
anything that was missed. We deal with, I'm gonna say at least 3 to 5 calls per day.
Okay.
I mean, I think that a prior hauler used to leave the stickers. I don't know if our current hauler is doing that. If
Sure.
that's part of the
Yeah, I
contract, or if that's part of the service that the hauler provided.
Yeah, no, the stickers are part of the solid waste program.
Okay.
So we can verify,
And
how
again,
the
I know the
sticker.
drivers are probably just trying to get through their route and do it.
Absolutely.
They are, however, they do have a good notification process, and they are notifying us when they didn't pick someone up
Mhm.
because they were overfilled.
Okay.
Gives us the
Oh.
opportunity to call that person.
Okay.
So the assessor's office will look up who the contract owner is. We'll call them, we had one today, able to call him and tell him why he wasn't picked up, what he needed to do, and they're going back tomorrow to get it. So if they don't put the sticker, they're typically emailing out
You
and saying,
know about it, so.
we didn't do.
I mean,
Yeah, you're not always, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really a work in progress.
Yeah.
But we continually see it increasing with them notifying us. We're calling the people, going out and doing site
Mhm,
inspections before they even might know why they weren't picked up.
Part of the reason that this, I think solid waste and recycling is near and dear to both of us, and we can see that, environmentally, it's going to be, it's better to educate and have people go along the way with, okay, this is how we need you to do it, and here's the tools to do it, rather than slap somebody with a sticker or a violation. I mean,
Do more of an educational notification. It's like
exactly.
I come home from work, my toter's there. Why is my toter there?
right, yeah.
They call you before you call them. The outreach is definitely a great explanation. I mean, I totally agree with that. Phone a fine on somebody is a little bit much, but especially, if it's a repeat offender time
Absolutely.
after time,
Yes.
things have to be discussed differently, but with the recycling coordinator, would that be anything that position could take?
So that, the recycling coordinator does a lot for us and works with the school outreach,
Yeah.
and is able to reach a lot of people through the kids in school.
Okay.
So there's a lot of information sharing back
Yeah.
and forth, and a lot of programs that are at the school
Yeah.
level. In addition to, she's extremely helpful with obtaining grants and grant funding. And, Amy Sullivan was instrumental in getting this part-time position through the grant,
And this is the new position?
this is going to be the new part-time position. So it is, it's a part-time position, it is temporary, but, long-term, we're hoping that there's something that, maybe down the road,
Mhm.
we could see some savings. But that person, again, the recycling coordinator it's a volunteer position.
Okay.
So this will actually give us somebody to be out in the field.
Mhm.
One of the things that, has improved a lot, and Eileen is able to usually respond same day. So we'll get notification. We have really good customer service. So we have our own customer service rep at Republic, and so often, you know, the driver is out, they identify a problem, the driver lets the customer service rep know, they're contacting us by email. Paula and Eileen see that, we're getting it into the office, and we're on the phone a lot of times before the driver's even back. So, you know, Eileen is very resourceful, she's able to, you know, see what do we have on file for a contact number. Can we get these people on the telephone, you know, saying, this is what we found, this is what you're gonna come home to, this is what we need you to do in order to give people the tools to be able to, you know, correct the behavior. So things have greatly improved, and a lot of that has to do with our efficiency in the office and being able to get, you know, our health inspector part-time, you know, going to full-time. So that relieves some of the duties that I need, so she can help focus on that. So there's a lot happening right now, and a lot of improvements being made, a lot of efficiencies. So Eileen is, she's extremely helpful with making sure that solid waste problems get resolved quickly. So the Central Mass Mosquito Control, the update is that they continue to let us know for notifications for any West Nile virus or Triple E. I don't want to really say it out loud too much, but we've been very fortunate. We haven't had any positive notifications. Therefore, we have not had the need to spray except for doing any prevention. So we did have we do some prevention at the parks as needed. I don't think we have anything else for Central Mass Mosquito Control, right?
Typically, the positive test.
Yeah. Later in the season, you know, that's when we got a run of them.
Last year, end of August.
Yeah.
Did they put anything on the public access channel as far as who they are, contact information?
We have, so on the...
And the website?
Yep, we have it on the website. We also have on LCAC.
They post it.
Yeah, they're very good at notifying. They notify us, they notify the town clerk's office, and so we usually get it out, usually within the same day. Yeah.
I will say the local public access channel does a different format than what you'll see online.
Right.
And it's only because the format that we get from Central Mass Mosquito, when they put it on our local access channel, it doesn't seem to come out right. It's a little more confusing, so you might only see a contact, Central Mass Mosquito, if you need to contact them.
Yeah.
But with direction on how to go back to our site, their site has a lot of information. We did a red banner when we started, but I do know the local access channel wasn't able, when they upload the form that we send out, it gets distorted, and it was less helpful than not having it on. So.
But if somebody has a question, I can tell you Central Mass Mosquito Control, their customer service is, I mean, it's unbelievable. So, you know, we've had several residents call to ask questions, you know, how can I either, you know, request a spray or request to not have any spray. And, you know, their customer service when you call, I mean, they want to, you know, a couple of times we've called and say, you know, okay, we'll get the information for you. They would rather talk to the person directly and be able to give them direction. So
is the office being notified in any way if there's any private spraying being done?
we are notified of any activity that they do. So
I mean, outside
any-
of Central Mass Mosquito. So if there's
You mean like you as a homeowner?
as a homeowner, farm agricultural application, if there's any spraying being done, either
so
from a
if,
truck or from
So-
You have the
Helicopter.
aircraft in this area, but,
Well, the aircraft is done in a number of towns.
yeah, but not through Central Mass Mosquito,
No,
but through
Cen-
private.
Central Mass Mosquito Control notifies us of
When-
all their activities. So
when
when
they
it,
do,
when,
right.
right, so anything from a phone call to, you know, a cleaning of a culvert, to a customer service problem, to spraying, anything, we get notification of that. So that's their activity, basically their activity log and anything that they do in our community. I do have some notifications where, excuse me, if somebody has, you know, keeping the bees and so forth,
Mhm.
they can be on a, you know, a no spray area. So we've had that come up before.
And that's all on the website where the information to find the exclusion request for that.
Those are not on the website, but we have copies in the office. So
National
they are-
Grid notifies us if they have to do some work on their intentions,
Mhm.
and they're gonna do shrub cutting,
Mhm.
and they're gonna do any kind of a spraying
Mhm.
for their workers to go in, they'll notify us.
Okay.
Every few years, they do interior cutting and spraying to get workers in there.
Okay.
So we do have a copy of all the vegetation plans
Mhm.
that we get notification from the railroad,
Mhm.
from National Grid, and I believe there's also another company. So we have those come into the office, and those are public information
Okay.
documents. So those can be looked at any time.
Yeah.
They are very good about sending them, and we keep track of them. Who Paula knows, because I'll say, okay, we're gonna save these, you know, in the certain file, so
Okay.
we have several of them.
Mhm.
But
So
if
that
some of our
information
bigger
provides
farms
us.
are doing any kind of topical spray, I don't know if the requirement would be through our department unless it came in as a complaint.
Okay.
Is more that it would be through maybe the Department of Agriculture for what they're allowed to do on the farms. But I do understand.
Yeah, more the notification that, you know, the DOA certainly has, you know, jurisdiction over a lot of the agricultural
Right.
practices.
We would certainly follow through on any complaint if someone
Yeah.
had a concern,
Right.
but I believe then we'd be following through with the Department of Agriculture.
And we've notified the Department of Agriculture in the past when we had issues, and they are responsive. They usually take the concern and they'll have it addressed through one of their, you know, field staff. So we've had that in the past. But we do have contacts at the Department of Agriculture if you need. So we do not have any further updates for the office. Just see. I believe we did have, I'm sorry, we do have public water supply notices. This is the time of year that the public water suppliers in town send us copies of their notifications that they have to send out to their customers. So we get copies, and I'm sure if you have
Came
public water
out
supply.
last month of that?
It did,
Okay.
yeah. Typically comes out in June.
Right.
I think that's when they have to send all of that to the Department of Environmental Protection. So we received all of these in, you're more than welcome to take a look at them, they are public record. And all this information was available at each one of the public water suppliers in town.
Mhm.
So we have Auburn Water District, and they cover the Woodland District, and then there's obviously Elm Hill. So we received all those in recently. And then, just see, I think the communicable disease report, that was received from the public health nurse. So we have the May, which I think we've already seen, and then June, but they both came in the month of June.
to approve. Nothing unexpected. Okay.
Beautiful, thank you. Any questions? All right, and so, at this time, if you're comfortable, I'm gonna turn it over to Eileen. She's gonna give us an update on where we are for, we have, some, food updates.
Yep.
Which I'm happy to, have her continue.
And I know I wasn't at the last couple of meetings, but I know Darlene went over some production numbers, and our year is cut up into 2 6-month sections. So June 30th ended our first 6 months, and we're at 92%. We have, just a few kind of bigger ones that we saved for the end. Very exciting. I'm not even sure if you've met Erin, but she's a fabulous addition to our team, and she's really a hustler. So she has gone out in full force, and the establishments have been very, very receptive to her. So we're happy about that. So she'll start the second session, and we had talked about this before. Now that we have her on board, we'll be adding an extra inspection to our highly susceptible establishments. So the 3 nursing homes will have a third added for this second, and the schools will all have a third added for this second. We are also going to include any establishment that has a HACCP plan. I'll be working with Erin on education on what to do with the HACCP plan. So if we have any establishments, we have a couple that do sushi, required HACCP plan. If your establishment requires a HACCP plan, you're getting an additional inspection as well. Next year, the HACCP, and there's several reasons to have a HACCP. We only happen to have restaurants right now that require it because of sushi. We will be bumping them up next year to 4 so that we can get in-depth HACCP inspections and still get their regular inspections. And probably at that time, we'll increase the schools to 4 and the nursing homes to 4. We always have the ability for any restaurant that seems to be needing a little extra, but these are going to be our standard ones that we do increase. So she's doing a great job. She just went to training for foodborne illness, so she's going to bring me and Darlene up to speed on that and the new things that the state wants us to do for foodborne illness and inspections. So.
And she's also taken some initiative for, at the federal level, CDC, to follow up from the course that she was at recently, just to continue that education piece and be able to utilize it. She's seeing firsthand when she goes into the restaurants and, any red flags that may come up, and trying to figure out how that fits into, we obviously don't want to have to investigate foodborne illnesses, and how can we prevent that?
And it fits into the new FDA inspection that they're trying to move forward with, which is investigative based on food processing and things that cause foodborne illness, and not relying as much on the building as the processing of the food. So it's good that we're able to go get them education. And it was a free class. It was at a busy time, so me and Darlene couldn't go, but we were fortunate that Erin could, and was able to bring that back to us. So we've had several events. On June 25th, we had the farmers market, the first one from the town of Auburn, and it was kind of a coalition of the town of Auburn, Packagug Church, and another group that they had formed, and it went over well. They did honey, maple syrup, a farm that did dairy, meat, eggs. The produce farm was unable to attend. They had overcommitted themselves, and it definitely was sorely missed. So they're going to partner up with several other farms and maybe even a local farm here to do more fruits and vegetables. They're gonna have it on the last Sunday of the month from July until October. So the Board of Health, I did compost and rain barrels, very well received, lots of information given out. It was a beautiful day, and you know, people were really looking for that, and it kind of fit. I'm talking to Carolyn about July because I don't think I'll be here for July's. So it definitely was well attended. I think they had probably about 350, 400 people for their first one. So I think that as they move forward and grow it, that they have something there. Then we did the 4th of July. I don't know, did either of you attend? I don't know that we were busy, so I don't know if but we had, I think for vendors for the 4th of July, we had 18 vendors. And for the most part, everything went smoothly, it went well. I think we might have even had too many vendors because there was a lot of vendors both in the middle of the pavilion and then up in the field. But I think we think that it was our largest ever. I don't know if we've gone to all of them, but it was the biggest crowd that I've seen in 4 years come through. So
I think they were thinking there was about 6,000 to 8,000 people.
yeah, it was a big crowd.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
And considering it was on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Because I didn't work, so.
No, I ran up after work
Did you?
at
Yeah.
8 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
I got my annual sausage sandwich with the Boy Scouts.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
The crowds were
most of
really
them- they did
good.
it, Boy Scouts did a phenomenal job.
Security and fire were great there, the police presence was, some very thoughtful planning of that was.
Yeah.
put into it.
It shows each year that it gets easier and easier when they follow the plan.
Well,
But-
because it is important, not only do we have planning for several months ahead, but we do after action reports. So we actually meet after the event, to be able to discuss, okay, what worked, what didn't, and that's a lot of how we've
Yeah.
made improvements just in our office and overall. So the event is really, it's
Yeah.
getting easier, and I think it's definitely more community oriented.
Yeah, it was a great night. The fire was so good. The rain held off, so that was great. So for new establishments, I know this is really not new, but 33 Isabel, the convenience store, they will be making their debut in the next, I would say, 2 to 5 weeks. They're at the last stages of cleaning and getting it prepared to open. So they've had a long journey, it's been about 2 years. Their kitchen is complete, and they'll now be setting up the store and opening. We did added another food truck, so we're up to 4 food trucks and 2 ice cream trucks in town. So food trucks are becoming very popular at events. So establishments that want to have events that don't do their own food are now bringing in food trucks. We tried it as a catering venue last year. Wasn't all that comfortable with that. Now we're having them get licensed as a street vendor. So even if they're going to stay local on their property or with permission on someone else's, they still have a street vendor license. So I honestly think that we're going to see more of that coming up. So we're kind of looking in, to innovative ways to kind of pull together some plans for what we can do for them. And I think that's it.
Awesome, thank you, Eileen. So as far as the schedule, I know it's, it's summertime and everybody has limited time. So we wanted to see what your availability would look like for August. The 14th would be our second, so we have a standing hold, at least for the Board of Health meeting for the 2nd and the 4th. I want to accommodate, the board in any way we can. Does Monday still work for you, or do you want to look at a different day? You know, timing, we want to be able to make it as easy as possible for you, and I know you both have very, you know, heavy schedules.
Well, one of the thing for me is that, I was starting to tell you, this is my last week of work at UMass. I quit.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Listen to me, I quit, but I have a new job. I start next week. So I don't 100% know exactly what my new schedule is going to look like. I mean, eventually I'm going to be making my own schedule, and I actually anticipate Mondays will work very well for me.
Okay.
I'm thinking, but because I'm technically will still be in orientation, I don't know exactly, it's still a little up in the air. So I'm
That's
hoping
fine.
next week I'll have a little more information, but that's kind of where I stand right now, because, you know, so it's kind of weird.
I mean, we don't have to set anything right now.
Right.
The
You
real
know, we
question,
can-
what yours, are you 7A to 7P?
Yes.
Does us doing a later time, like a 7:30, work better to
I
fit
think the
into?
earliest I could, the earliest I could get here after a day working would be 8 p.m. Because my shift gets over, the earliest I could punch out is 7:23.
Oh,
And then
okay.
driving from the other side of Worcester,
Okay, yeah.
you know, it would be closer to 8 o'clock if I can actually punch out at 7:22. I've got a 20-minute window to punch.
Yeah.
Uh, It would be easier just planning a day off. During the school year when I was teaching, it was much easier having every Monday off.
Okay.
So now it's kind of, the grace period has been thrown out. So
Right.
planning ahead, August 14th is not posted yet.
Okay.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's also the tail end of my vacation.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we need to have a meeting the 14th or the 21st, you know, if we're looking at one meeting in August, depending on needs.
So what we can do is, if you're comfortable with it, I mean, it is summertime, we were able to accommodate, I mean, this request literally came in last week, and we're able to obviously get it on for this meeting. So I think as long as we can accommodate the request, for something that is time sensitive, that's really what we need to look at. I know that there are sometimes things that come up for animal control, you know, such as the citations. Once we get into issuing those, you know, we've obviously had hearings for that,
Right.
or any other emergencies that come up. I think as long as you can, you know, if it works, Paula sends it out, and then, you know, we have a consensus of what works,
Right,
and then
right.
it just kind of coordinate. I mean, I think it works well. I think Paula does a great job of trying to, you know, round up and see, okay, you know, it's good for Carolyn, Steve's checking, and then, you know, our other board member can check and see as well. So, I mean, if you're comfortable with that,
I am, because my new job, I'm going to be traveling a little bit in the New England area, so it probably will work to kind of just like juggle like you, that works with you.
okay. The only part of this that we do have to be cognizant, this room is like gold.
Mhm.
So it's gold-plated chairs and a gold-plated desk. It's hard to get this room. So that's our biggest challenge. I always start with Paula, check the room.
Yeah.
So,
But we're in for our standard 14 and the 14th and
Yes,
the
we
28th.
are.
Yeah, the
14th
28th.
and the 20th.
I think
okay.
The
Second
main
and
thing
the
was,
fourth.
you know, maybe if you know what Mondays you'll have off, if you can email me,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then we can go from there
Yep.
and see if it is
Right.
available. But she does have to submit the second.
yeah. So at this point, we don't have anything, we have, you know, we've taken care of all the immediate, you know, work at hand, as far as business at hand. Going forward, once you figure out your new job, and once you get your schedule posted, then I'll have Paula send something out, you know, in the next couple weeks to be able to see what works for you guys to meet again. And hopefully we'll have our third member, you know, at that meeting. we'll have, so what I'm picturing at that meeting is that'll be our August, sometime in August meeting. We'll have an update on the minutes, so we'll be able to get the minutes. Paul's doing a great job getting us up to date so that we'll be all caught up. And then we'll get the minutes squared away. We will have the board member here, so that'll complete the board. And then we can look and see. We have, I know, some internally, some projects that we're working on, and, you know, with solid waste and the food, that's something that we're actively working on. So just bring you up to date and just make sure you're comfortable with it, and be able to, you know, let you know what long-term plans we have for the fall. The other opportunities, if either one of you want to, we always have the concerts on the common. Those go now through the end of August, right?
Yeah.
So that's every Thursday. If we want to do some sort of education, it would be too taxing to be at every single one.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want to target, you know, one or two Thursdays, then we can, you know, set up and get educational materials and be able to look at that.
You know, one of my things that I did, probably more like right before school starts, is use my poster that I did on concussion.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'll
Yeah,
bring that,
that'd be nice.
Well,
to one of the concerts on the common.
sure it's a good.
What? Oh, yeah, I will. Sorry. I thought you meant the poster, but I really meant the concert. And, yeah, because it's about, you know, concussion in the student athlete.
Absolutely, yep. That would be a nice one. So if you have a Thursday night,
Yeah.
that, you know, you have a couple of hours that you don't mind and listen to the music and.
And then I'll definitely do the July.
Yeah, it's the last Sunday, so,
What time does it run?
it ran this time from 10 to 2, 10 to 2.
And I have to go to yoga first.
Yeah, they did, they had music and, they had live music, a girl playing a ukulele, and they had some bounce house and some food, some fun things for the kids, but I think it would be well rounded off if they get a few vegetable buns. But it was a gorgeous day and just a great day for people to be walking around.
So we have, I'm sorry.
It is rain or shine, just to let you know. The church has offered the use of their hall, so it won't be canceled. It definitely will be that
Okay, that's
day,
good.
and they'll move everyone inside.
So what we'll do is, I think we have the dates, it's the last Sunday, so we'll do it, you know, for July, August, September, October. I'll have Paula send out those dates, and then also the dates for the concerts on the Common. If there's any ones that you want to focus on, and you want to, you know, do some education at any of those, let me know, and we can coordinate that in the office. We'll see if we have any materials, and then we'll make sure we have set up, you know, and write it down.
And like I said, I had done the compost in the rain barrels, but anything could be accommodated.
Right.
As long as, you know, it's something that someone is
I mean-
interested in.
We did
Talking
the
about.
line in the past, you know, so in the school nurses have been really, they were awesome when we did that concussion program, you know, when they were there. You know, I think putting something on like that is nice too. You know, obviously you guys have the medical background for it. So, I think that's it. All the updates.
That's right.
So, Kevin, did we look at the 14th?
And then
That's what I was gonna ask, so you guys wanna stick with Mondays, is that what it's?
I think we'll
I
stick
think
there for
Mondays,
now.
yeah, for now, and then you guys
We'll
can let
focus
us
on it.
know, we'll have Paula reach out to you.
I'd like to go back to reorganization. You can do it with a quorum of 2 if you choose, so choose. Is that something that you guys want to do tonight? Without,
You can also, you know, we obviously
You can wait
have the
till-
option.
you can
of
wait till the
waiting
next
for the
meeting, till Eric comes.
Next member,
Okay.
10
Your
minutes.
choice, I can't make a motion.
How about- all right, we'll make a motion to wait till the next meeting
And you
since,
can motion to close and
Oh,
we'll deal
okay.
with that next week. Or you
Okay.
can make a motion, a nomination, or... I could-
all right, I will make a nomination for Steve Norberg to be the chairman of the Auburn Public Health
you have
Committee.
a second. Then I'll second myself.
If you accept.
National elections.
Yay, awesome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I vote for myself? Aye. So in that terms, I shall make a nomination to Carolyn as vice chair.
Oh,
of the Board of Health.
and I accept.
And I vote aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that's
Thank
awesome.
The Final motion of,
Adjournment for tonight's meeting?
I'll second that. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.